Jonathan McMillan is the founder of Be Better Than Average, a company that provides success. You're going to edit that out, right? Provides success skills and personal development and life coaching services. Today, he will be sharing a few words on how to create a better than average life through a mindset that is habitually, purposefully, and powerfully grateful. Jonathan McMillan.
There was a young man walking down the beach, and he heard the cries of a young woman, and he came across a lady with no arms and no legs. And he said, "Ma'am, what's the problem?" She said, "I'm sad because I've never been hugged before." Being the gentleman he was, he gently went down and embraced her and went about his business. Another young man was walking down the beach, and he heard the same cries and came across the same lady, no arms, no legs, and said, "Ma'am, what's the problem?" She said, "I'm sad because I've never been kissed before." So being the gentleman he was, he kneeled down and gently placed a kiss on her lips, went about his business. Then another man walking down the beach heard the same cries and came across her and said, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" She said, "I'm sad because I've never been screwed before." He looked around, kneeled down, picked her up and threw her in the ocean. He said, "You're screwed now." When you ask the average person, "How are you?" the typical response is, "All right," or "fine," or even "good." Occasionally, though, you'll have that person who announces, "I'm having a bad day," because one or two things have not gone their way. And rather than to focus on the small miracles that make life worth living, they concentrate on the little things that just get under your skin and declare the entire day as being bad. I used to be one of those people, and I had a transformation in my thinking. I learned an important skill from my 2-year-old, but now 3-year-old. Every morning when I wake him up, I say, "Good morning, Julian." That's his name. "How are you, my Buddha?" That's what we call him. "I great, Daddy." He says sleepily but enthusiastically. And it's with that mindset that he soldiers through the rest of his day, excited for everything and everyone he'll encounter before bedtime, no matter what doesn't go his way or what he can't control. And as a rational adult, I realized that if he can do it, despite not having control over anything except for his mood, there's no reason why I shouldn't follow his lead. For example, Wednesday morning I woke up and I had every intention on meditating, doing some writing, doing some reading. However, as soon as I got out of bed, a funny thing happened. Life. My smartphone, which is my primary means of communication, began to act real dumb. I mean, malfunction in a major way. And so the time that I had spent, allotted myself to be productive, I spent a good portion of it on the phone with a technical support agent. And unfortunately, the solution that she recommended made the problem even worse. And when she couldn't fix it, she promised me she was going to send me an email with a resolution, and I waited, and that email never came. So now I spent another good portion of my time doing the research myself, looking up websites, finding articles about the error messages I was getting, how to fix it. And when I did everything I could, finally I had to back up all the data on my phone and all the info and do a factory reset and cross my fingers and hope that I didn't lose anything irreplaceable. When I finally set my phone down to concentrate on something I had planned to do, Julian, that super active, very curious 2-year-old, knocked the brand new blender that we'd gotten out as a gift off the table onto the floor, shattering the glass carafe. At that point, President Obama could have declared Wednesday as being Jonathan's bad day, and nobody would have argued. And you know people like to argue with President Obama. All the evidence up to that point pointed towards that obvious verdict. But there was one thing that made it impossible for the day to be declared bad, and that was my refusal to do so. As long as I didn't drop dead at that very moment, I still had the power to create whatever type of day I wanted. So I stopped immediately, took a deep breath, and began to acknowledge and list all the things I had to be grateful for. The top of the list was my ability to change the direction which my day was headed. And then I acknowledged that I had learned something new about my phone. And anytime you learn something new, you become more valuable. I had become more valuable. I had backed up all the data and info on my phone, which was something that was way overdue. And most importantly, Julian had probably learned a very important lesson about being careful around glass objects without hurting himself in the process. The entire morning had been an opportunity for me to purposely practice being grateful and then transform it into a presentation where I could practically help others. Wednesday was a good day. Today is a good day. And I'll tell you why. Last night, I was scared almost half to death. I was fixing myself a cup of tea. And I put some very hot tap water in a cup and set it down on the counter. And you remember Julian, that very curious and extremely busy 2-year-old, came in the kitchen, grabbed the cup, and spilled it all over his face and torso before I could do anything. Like in a Michael Bay movie, the 2 seconds that it took for him to reach for, tip the cup over, and scald himself unfolded like slow motion. I raced over to reach him, but by the time I got to him, he was already releasing a blood-curdling scream of agony. I scooped him up, ran him into the bedroom where his mom and I checked him over carefully. We applied some minor first aid, TLC, some warm, dry pajamas. And next thing you know, the Buddha looks good as new. A little shocked, but as good as new. And half an hour later, he was laying in bed, watching his favorite movie, fighting sleep like any other night. And the next morning, I asked him, "How are you, my Buddha?" And without missing a beat, just as sleepily and enthusiastically as always, he responded, "I'm great, Daddy. Thank you."
Thank you, sir. Sorry about messing up your introduction. That was my bad.